Hello Algebra Scholars, this is section 3.6, slope-intercept form. We're going to deal with the equation y equals mx plus b, which I think many of you are familiar with already. It is called the slope-intercept equation. It's an extremely important equation to help us graph lines. If we have an equation in the form y equals mx plus b, we know that m, which is right here, represents the slope of the line, and b, which is at the end, tells us the y-intercept of the line. And let's just remember that a y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So doing this first quick example here at the bottom of the screen, we're asked to graph the line whose slope is 3/2 and whose y-intercept is -4. When we graph a line, we always start with the y-intercept. So we're simply going to put a point at -4 on the y-axis. And from that point, we will use our slope to find a second point. And let's just remember that slope is rise divided by run. So we will go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and we will go to the right 2 because the run is +2. That means we go to the right. If we wanted to, we could go up 3 again, and to the right 2 again. And we could do that even one more time. Up 3, right 2. You don't have to do it this many times, but you can. And we'll play connect the dots, and we have a nice line. In this example, you're asked to find the slope and y-intercept of each line. And if the equation is in y equals mx plus b form, which remember is called slope-intercept form, it's really easy to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So for this first example, the slope is -2/5, and the y-intercept, which we like to write as an ordered pair, is 0,4. In the second example, we're not in y equals mx plus b form, but we can get there very easily by adding 4x to both sides, and then answering the question after that. The slope is 4. And the y-intercept is 0,7. And in the last example, getting to y equals mx plus b form takes a little more work. I'm subtracting 2x from both sides. Then I'm going to divide everything by -5, which gives me y equals 2/5 x plus 8/5. Don't worry about the fractions. The slope is 2/5, and the y-intercept is 0,8/5. So if you're in y equals mx plus b form, identifying the slope and y-intercept is very easy. And also easy is finding the equation of a line if I give you the slope and the y-intercept. So we know slope is m, we know y-intercept is b, therefore the equation of the line whose slope is 7/6 is y equals 7/6 x, and then plus b, b is -2, so we say -2. So the equation of the line is y equals 7/6 x minus 2, and here it's y equals -4/3 x plus 1/2. Very easy, nothing tricky at all about that. Finally, and most importantly probably, is the ability to graph a line that is in slope-intercept form. The slope of this first line is 2/3, and the y-intercept is 0,2. Remember, we always start with the y-intercept. So we will plot a point at 0,2. Remember, y-intercept is on the y-axis. And then we will use the slope to find a second point. So remember, just as a reminder, we will first rise 2, and then we will run 3. 1, 2, 3. If we wanted to, though, if we go back to our y-intercept, instead of going up and to the right, we could go down 2 and to the left 3. If we wanted, we could do it again, down 2 and to the left 3. and then we'll connect all those points up. And the points should be collinear, and they are. In this very last example, we need to get our line into y equals mx plus b form. So I've subtracted 4x from both sides, and I'm going to divide by 5, so that gives me plus 3. So here is our slope, and here is our y-intercept. Remember, we always start with the y-intercept. So I'm going to plot a point on the y-axis at 0, 3. And because the slope is negative, we can think of that as negative 4/5. So we will go down 4. And because 5 is positive, we will go to the right 5. Or if we wanted to, we could think of the slope as positive 4 over negative 5. So if we go back to the y-intercept, instead of going down and to the right, we could go up 4 and to the left. And if we've done that correctly, those 3 points should be collinear. And that's pretty much all I've got for you on the slope-intercept equation, one of the most important equations you'll ever use in high school math.